Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for Hot Wheels Unleashed for Xbox One. I don't get to do a whole lot of game reviews. I don't really play a lot of games right now. I just kind of tinker with stuff here and there. And it's taken me like a year and a half, maybe a year actually, to beat this game overall. And I haven't 100%ed it or anything, but I'm just talking about the basic game here for Hot Wheels Unleashed, not any of the DLC stuff, just what's coming with the game. And despite its flaws, it has very few flaws to me. I love this game. I think it is the bomb. And I don't know if I mentioned this already. It's for Xbox One. Hot Wheels Unleashed, you have to understand, I've only played like maybe one other Hot Wheels game back when I was a kid on PS2. And it might have been GameCube, actually. I think it was just Hot Wheels World Race around the time the NASCAR cartoon was so big. I think it was around that time, within a few years range, something like that. But I was never a car guy growing up. It wasn't until I hit my teenage years and I got into like Lamborghinis and stuff because of rap music. That's when they showed it in music videos. That's why I got into it. But when I was a kid, I was never a big car person. It was always Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars and stuff like that. This game was so much fun, and I don't know if there was anything like it when I was growing up. I don't know if any game from the PS2 or Nintendo 64 or any of those eras ever had anything like this, where it was like you were playing with toy cars on tracks. Not like, cars that looked like Hot Wheel cars on like regular reality world racing games. I don't think there was anything like this as far as I know. I could be wrong about that, don't hold me to it. But this was so uniquely fun. And it's so beautifully well done, the way it's executed, the way the settings look that you drive in. Like, you'll just be driving in, like, construction sites, for example. You have the little orange track that you're driving on, wrapped around, like, poles and like, concrete bricks and construction areas, or, like, in a basement of a house that you can customize sometimes, too. I never did much of the customization, by the way, for, like, the bedrooms and stuff. There's not a whole lot to customize, but I wasn't interested enough in doing that, nor did I ever try to build my own tracks, just so you know. I'm not really a fan of doing that all that much. It takes so much time, it's so tedious. I just never did that, just so you know up front. I played this strictly as a racing game, where you could unlock and buy cars, which is one of my favorite things to do in the game. But I'm going to tell you, for probably the last 4 or 5 years, since COVID, I got into racing car games and just played a lot of different stuff so far. I've collected a lot of stuff over the last few years from a local shop that I love that are like PS2 racing games. I love racing games more now than I ever did as a teenager when I got into cars. It just seems like there's so much variety. I like arcade racers more than like simulation racers. And this is like, to me, the best arcade racer ever. I love this. And I grew up with like Midnight Club 3 on PSP and PS2. I love those deeply. I think this is better than those. I mean, those are trying to be more realistic. This is more cartoony. But I love this. I think it is, even though you don't, on the basic game, you don't have a whole lot of locations. You don't have a ton of like cars that would be more of like DLC material. But the ones that are included in here that are kind of unique surprised me. For example, even though you can't customize a lot of other places or have a lot of different places to race at, I still love the tracks. They got repetitive, but I was having such a fun time playing this game the majority of the time that I didn't care about, the lack of a lot of content with backgrounds and stuff. When it came to those cars, like I mentioned a moment ago, there's a lot of stuff in here I never in a million years would have thought would have been in this game. Great example. K.i.t.t from Knight Rider, Mr. Feeney's voice and all that. Not in this game, but in the show Knight Rider. You can drive K.i.t.t in this game. There's a lot of other cars. What else was there? There was like movie style cars like that were in here, but not a bunch. I think the sequel, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2, which I tried and I don't like. It has boss battles and stuff, and it's really, really bad in my opinion. I do not like the changes they did. I don't know if it's because the fans demanded those things or what, but like Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 seems way more difficult than this. In a way that it's overly complex and I don't like because of those boss battles and power-ups and shit. And it has like a weird cartoon storyline thing going on with like weird haircuts and shit. I like this because this is just a basic racing arcade game, you know? Um, I can't remember the other cars that were in this game, but there's a lot of cars that you would not expect to be in this. And then they have like fun cars. You don't just have like cool looking Hot Wheels racers. You have stuff like, I don't know, like a giant cheeseburger car, for example. Or you have like a toilet that has a steering wheel, which I think all of these are real Hot Wheels cars that have been made before. You have Mustangs, for example, which I really love driving in this. I wish you could customize the color of those things. I don't think you can do that in any of the Hot Wheels games. I have all 4 of them that have come out in recent years. Like, I got the more childish baby one that I did not know was a baby game, Hot Wheels Let's Race or whatever for Switch. I got that for Christmas. And I've tried it out a little bit. It's fun, I guess, but it's, again, very babyish. And I just feel like this particular game, kicking off all of those next games, like the Monster Trucks one they did, this to me is the perfect sweet spot of everything I wanted a Hot Wheels or a racing game in general to be. And like if you wreck your car, for example, like let's say you fall off the track, the way the sound design is for the clicking of your little metallic car that's barely bigger than a quarter, hitting the ground and hitting walls and stuff and making a little click noise, not a crash noise like you're playing Burnout Paradise, little click noises like your toy car in your room in real life, you know, fell off your desk or something. That is so well done and so funny. I don't know what it is about it that makes it so funny to me, but I just enjoy that. I think this game has this joyous feel to it that just makes it always satisfying and always enjoyable to me. Every time I would have people over for like the last year or so, like my childhood best friend, or like, mainly him, because he came over a few times this year. He lives kind of far away. Every time I'd have him and his wife over to hang out with my wife and I, or like, you know, my mom or somebody, I would have them try this because it was so much fun. And it just had so much going for it. And everybody likes it. I haven't met a single person who doesn't like this game who tried it. So if you're like on the fence to this day, even though this came out in 2021, if you're still on the fence about trying this, you should totally play it. I think it's way more fun than you give it credit for. I think it offers so much of a good time because of just how again, cartoonish and silly it is. And yeah, I wish there were more tracks, like I said. But beggars can't be choosers. This is probably one of my favorite racing games ever, probably my top 5 of all time. And I can't believe how well it aged, despite the lack of a lot of customization, despite not being able to change the color of your cars. I think it just offers so much that too many games don't, and I love it for that. So anyway, I think they're also making like a J.J. Abrams movie based on this property, not just Hot Wheels, but like specifically this game. I could be wrong about that. That may fall through, but that's what I've heard. I would love to see that. I think that'd be really, really cool. Anyway, have you played Hot Wheels Unleashed? What did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think it's the best Hot Wheels game ever? Do you think it's the best Hot Wheels thing that'll ever be made? Game-wise, movie-wise, anything. What was your favorite car if you played the game? I'd love to hear that down below. Mine is probably k.i.t.t. I think there was something else, though. Another movie-style car that I'm not remembering right now. But anyway, really, really loved k.i.t.t. I love how you can still see like the little red light in the front, sorta. Where the little red beam goes back and forth on k.i.t.'s car in the show. But it was really cool. I recommend it alone if you haven't played the game before. But like I said, I do not recommend Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. I'm not even going to bother reviewing that because I did not get far into it at all. Maybe 20 races, maybe 30, something like that, and I just gave up. It was way too bland and complicated and stupid for a racing game. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. I'm losing my voice, as you can tell. I have a bunch of ice and snow I got to go dig up. And I'm going to go do that. So God bless you guys. Have a good one. Goodbye.